Friends, if you want to watch super hit movie Karate Kid Legends in English, then you must like this video. If you are visiting our channel for the first time, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Friends, in today's video, the movie we are going to talk about is called Karate Kid. Legends, we will talk about what this movie is and where you can watch it, all the interesting facts about this movie in today's video. I'm going to tell you, I'm also going to give you all the information on which OT platform or on which satellite channel you will get to watch this movie. Also, we will talk in detail about the technical department, music department, pre-production, filming, post-production, budget, box office collection of this film. We will also talk about the story of this film, and I will also give you a small review of the story of this film. Apart from this, we will discuss about the facts of this film's storyline, star cast actors' performance in the film, and which character has played which role. That's why I request you friends to watch this video till the end, so let's start the video. Karate Kid Legends is a 2025 American martial arts drama film starring Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio, while introducing Ben Wong as the main lead. It is the sixth film in the Karate Kid franchise, serving as a continuation of The Karate Kid 2010 and the television series Cobra Kai 2008-2025. Both Chan and Macchio reprised their roles from the franchise, the latter's first involvement in a film from the franchise since The Karate Kid Part 3, 1989. The story follows Lee Wong, a kung fu prodigy who, after moving to New York and confronting a local karate champion, receives help from his former master Mr. Han, Chan and karate sensei Daniel LaRusso, Macchio. It is the first film in the series not to be produced by Jerry Weintraub, who died in 2015. The film was confirmed to be in development in September 2022, with Jonathan Entwistle set to direct and Rob Lieber set to write the screenplay in November 2023. 8. Casting took place from November 2023 to April 2024. Principal photography took place from April to June 2024. Karate Kid Legends premiered at the Cinépolis Mítica in Mexico City, Mexico on May 7, 2025, and was released in the United States by Sony Pictures Releasing on May 30th. It received mixed reviews from critics and has grossed $106 million worldwide. Production. Background. See also the Karate Kid franchise. The Karate Kid 1984, starring Ralph Macchio as Daniel LaRusso, was followed by two sequels, The Karate Kid Part 2, 1986, and The Karate Kid Part 3, 1989. The Karate Kid 2010, a remake of the first film, followed a similar storyline with a different set of characters, including Jackie Chan as Mr. Han. Macchio reprised his role in the television series Cobra Kai 2018-2025, which served as a sequel to the original films. Music. Main article, Karate Kid Legends soundtrack. Dominic Lewis was hired to compose the score by December 2024, becoming the fourth composer in the history of the franchise, following Bill Conti, who scored the first four films, James Horner, who scored the 2010 film, and Leo Birenberg and Zach Robinson, who scored Cobra Kai. In addition to his score, Lewis also wrote and performs original songs for the film, as well as incorporating Conti's original themes from the first Karate Kid film. Release. Karate Kid Legends premiered in Mexico City on May 8, 2025, and was released in the United States and Canada on May 30th. The film was originally set to be released on June 7, 2024, but due to the 2023 SAG-AFTRA strike, it was delayed to December 13, 2024. It was moved once again to May 2025, with Kraven the Hunter taking over the release date to avoid conflict with the final season of Cobra Kai. Reception. Box office. As of July 21, 2025, Karate Kid Legends has grossed $52.5 million in the United States and Canada and $54 million in other territories for a worldwide total of $106.6 million. In the United States and Canada, Karate Kid Legends was released alongside Bring Her Back and was projected to gross $25 to $30 million from 3,809 theaters in its opening weekend. The film made $7.7 million on its first day, including $2.3 million from Thursday night previews. It went on to debut to $21 million, finishing third behind holdovers Lilo and Stitch and Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. The slight underperformance was blamed on franchise fans becoming accustomed to the series being on Netflix after Cobra Kai, as well as Lilo and Stitch sharing the family demographic in theaters. Cast Jackie Chan as Mr. Han, a revered shifu of a Wuguan in Beijing. Ralph Macchio as Daniel LaRusso, a sensei of Miyagi-Do karate in California. Ben Wang as Li Fong, a young Chinese boy mentored by his great-uncle Mr. Han. Marco Zhang as a young Li Fong. Joshua Jackson as Victor Lapani, Mia's father. Sadie Stanley as Mia Lapani, Victor's daughter. Ming-Na Wen as Dr. Fong, Li's mother and Mr. Han's niece. Aramis Knight as Koner Day, a karate prodigy and Li's rival. Wyatt Olef as Alan, Li's tutor and friend. Shawnette Renee Wilson as Miss Morgan, Li's schoolteacher in New York. Tim Rosen as O'Shea, a loan shark who is Victor's creditor and Koner's sensei. Oscar Jie as Bo Fong, Li's deceased older brother who was killed in a street fight prior to the beginning of the film. Additionally, Pat Morita appears as Mr. Miyagi in archival footage from The Karate Kid Part 2, and William Zabka reprises his role as Johnny Lawrence from previous appearances in the franchise. After decades of new stories and characters, a franchise can grow tired and even phone it in. It's what many franchise movies have done in the past. After all, why put in the effort when you know it's going to make money regardless? It's what I was afraid Karate Kid Legends was going to do, but the new entry in the long-running The Karate Kid franchise, which spawned multiple movies, a remake, and a Netflix series in Cobra Kai, did the opposite. And it's all the better for it. There's actually an effort made in the story, which follows Li Fong, Ben Wang, a Chinese teenager who moves with his mother, Ming-Na Wen, to New York from Beijing a year after the death of his older brother. From the very beginning, Legends ties into the original film, providing new information and giving Li a path forward in his journey. What we get is a charming movie with enough stakes and heart to carry it through to the end. Karate Kid. Legends is not only wholesome fun for all ages, but it's actually sweet and enjoyable in its approach. The story may be predictable, and we know Li will win the Five Boroughs tournament at the end, but it retains the underdog spirit as we await how Ali will not only beat his opponent, a thoroughly mean teen named Connor, Aramis Knight, but also overcome his own trauma. To that end, Legends is an easygoing film that doesn't simply bank on our nostalgia and builds enough tension and good character relationships. It kept me thoroughly entertained. I'll admit that Karate Kid Legends is more than a bit corny, but it leans into that without shame. It's not trying to be something it's not, and instantly establishes a link between Ali's love for Kung Fu and having a purpose. But before taking to the mat himself, because he promised his mom he wouldn't fight anymore, Li tries to use Kung Fu to help Joshua Jackson's Victor, a pizza shop owner and former boxer who owes the wrong people money, and his daughter Mia, Sadie Stanley. This storyline nicely parallels Li's journey as he comes to terms with the details of his brother's death. Sure, the flashbacks are a bit unnecessary and not always great, but they at least work to remind us of what Li lost, his brother and a part of himself that he can't face. Such themes are handled with grace, never becoming too grim for the lighthearted tone the movie maintains. At a cool hour and 34 minutes, the film understands what it means to keep a story tight and moving. It also helps that the fight scenes are well choreographed and entertaining. The film's cast is really where the film especially shines, though. Jackie Chan as Li's mentor, Mr. Han, is as charming as ever. He disappears for a bit when Li moves to New York, and he's gone long enough for us to wonder when he'll return. When he reappears, Chan is like sunshine, bringing even more warmth to the film and to Li's life. His scenes with Li and Ralph Macchio's Daniel LaRusso are especially lovely and fun. Joshua Jackson is effective in a role that is largely humorous with an undertone of pathos, while Sadie Stanley is just right as the strong-willed and endearing Mia. Ben Wang is good as Li, bringing a sense of pain mixed with an easygoing nature. Ming-Na Wen is excellent as always, though I wish she'd gotten to share more meaningful scenes with Wang. And, though he's in a minor role, Wyatt Olef is a scene stealer as Alan, Li's tutor. It's an overall strong cast that works well together, bringing heart to a film that could have easily fizzled by the halfway point. All in all, Karate Kid Legends has great energy and a bright spirit that keeps us engaged throughout its runtime. It's genuinely charismatic and keeps its focus on the characters in a way that isn't trying too hard. It strikes a good balance between heartfelt and fun, and the cast has great chemistry. Their interactions are joyful and dynamic. The story is not overly deep, but it doesn't have to be for it to be thoroughly entertaining. It's certainly a crowd-pleasing film that will make you feel good all the way through, no matter how long you've been with the franchise. Review: Karate Kid Legends. There's a lot riding on Li Fong, warrior protagonist of the Karate Kid Legends. The Beijing emigre, played by Disney mainstay Ben Wong, is barely settled into his new Manhattan surrounds when he finds himself schooling Victor, a West Side pizzaiolo, Joshua Jackson, in the ways of Kung Fu to help him win a boxing purse and clear his debt with an unfriendly neighborhood loan shark, Tim Rosen. But when Victor is cheated out of a certain win by an illegal knockout blow, Fong is reminded of the tragic death of his Kung Fu idol older brother, and his frozen reaction in the moment puts him at odds with Victor's daughter Mia, an emerging love interest, Sadie Stanley, and his own mother, Ming-Na Wen, who explicitly forbade him from fighting. Besides acing the SAT and fitting into a new high school, Fong is further charged with reinvigorating a cultural institution attempting its first feature film reboot in 15 years. Inferior franchises have buckled under lesser pressure. All of it had the makings of a disaster recipe for director Jonathan Entwistle. But Rob Lieber's script embroiders those plot points onto a classic underdog story that feels even more resonant at a time when young people appear to be more lonely and powerless than ever. Sure, longtime Karate Kid watchers will see many of Legends' punches coming, but there's vastly more enjoyment to be taken from watching the film with young viewers who are either coming into the Karate Kid world fresh or from Netflix's Cobra Kai TV series spin-off. Kids ruled my screening of the film in Atlanta, where many of the exterior and street scenes in Legends were shot. To set up the passing of the bandana, the film opens with a scene between Daniel San and Mr. Miyagi from the Karate Kid Part 2. In it, Miyagi explains the connection between his brand of karate and a style of kung fu practiced in China, two branches of the same tree, as it were. That's our reintroduction to Fong's uncle, Mr. Han, Jackie Chan, the Kung Fu Master. And carryover from the 2010 Karate Kid sequel, who keeps Fong fighting over his mother's objections. He's the one who pushes Fong to enter a lucrative New York martial arts tournament after he gets in over his head, and the one who flies out to Los Angeles to recruit Master Daniel, played by a still fresh-faced Ralph Macchio, to prepare Fong for the make-or-break event. It all makes for a winsome 94 minutes that satisfies young audiences' taste for constant action and plays to adult viewers' sense of nostalgia and makes them both laugh at the same jokes. Fong picks up the nickname Stuffed Crust after committing the worst New York pizzeria ordering faux pas imaginable. Viewers of a certain generation will have a hard time not feeling old when they see Jackson, aka Pacey of Dawson's Creek, as a grizzled girl dad, or Wen, aka Street Fighter's Chun-Li, as a helicopter mom. Maybe she'll get some fight scenes in the sequel? Wyatt Oleff, the Entwistle holdover who plays Fong's tutor-turned-wingman Alan, was delightful too in his moments of repartee with Fong, who initially recoils from this mother-enforced relationship. In my screening, Alan got the night's biggest laugh off the bat when he asks Fong, who sports a shiner when they first meet, if his mom did that to your eye. But for Karate Kid fans of this generation, the biggest payoff is likely to come when the callback to Cobra Kai is finally revealed. For my money, though, the far bigger surprise was the chemistry between Chan and Macchio. It really saves what could have been a too-many-cooks situation. Surely there's a Zen koan about the vanity of the student with two masters. Chan in particular remains the all-time best at getting laughs through martial artistry, and there's an apartment break-in scene between him and Fong that wouldn't look out of place in Rush Hour or another of Chan's stunt-work ballets. Still, that's not to say Legends is a perfect reboot. The grown-ups in the room who were too young to appreciate character development in the 80s will probably scoff at Legends' thinly sketched antagonists Aramis Knight's Koner, not least. Critical fight sequences in the film unfold like scenes from Mortal Kombat-style fighter games, with only the energy meter missing from the framing. The film also could have done without one notably cringe product placement nod, for which Olaf does the honors. But other than those faint missteps, Legends sweeps the leg. It's warm, it's breezy, it's a burst of summery family fun that is sure to inspire long looks back at the old movies and Cobra Kai episodes while sparking renewed interest in martial arts apprenticeship. Anyone would get a kick out of it. The sound design, overseen by Ren Klei, deserves accolades for turning the unseen into a visceral experience. Training scenes resound with the sharp exhale of breaths, the thud of feet striking mats, and the faint creak of wooden boards. Each punch and kick carries weight amplified by Foley work that emphasizes impact without exaggeration. Environmental sounds, wind rustling through rooftop gardens, distant traffic hums, and dripping pipes in underground dojus ground the narrative in a tactile reality. During the climactic tournament, the soundscape expands, crowd cheers swell and ebb. Shoes squeak on polished floors, and moments of silence between strikes heighten the drama. Music score, East meets West in sonic form from Dominic. Lewis's score is a delicate alchemy of cultures. Traditional Chinese instruments like the airwood and dizi weave through orchestral strings and percussion, symbolizing Lithon's bridging of kung fu and karate. Early scenes are accompanied by sparse, melancholic motifs reflecting Lithon's isolation. As his confidence grows, so does the music, blossoming into sweeping themes during training sequences and culminating in a powerful percussion-driven climax during the tournament finals. The score is complemented by diegetic sounds, hip-hop, beats playing from a boombox in a New York alley, or the soft melody of a Chinese lullaby in Mr. Hans's dojo. Integrating music seamlessly into the world. Fight choreography. The language of the body coordinated by legendary stunt choreographer Yuen Whooping. The fight scenes are a cinematic dance of philosophy and physics. Each character's style is distinctive. Lithuan's movements are fluid and adaptive. Connor's are sharp and aggressive, while Daniel's demonstrations show controlled precision honed over decades. The choreography tells stories not just of victory and defeat, but of learning, compromise, and resilience. Visual effects, invisible enhancement. Though the film leans on practical stunts, subtle VFX enhancements polish the experience. Background extensions create sweeping shots of New York skylines. Slow-motion sequences emphasize critical strikes with particles like dust and sweat suspended midair to dramatize the moment without feeling artificial. Costume design, threads of identity. Designed by Kelly Jones. The costumes speak volumes about character arcs. Lee begins in muted tones, gray hoodies, and worn sneakers reflecting his emotional retreat. As he integrates into his new life, his wardrobe subtly shifts. Brighter hues and tailored fits symbolizing growth. Mr. Khan's attire remains rooted in simplicity, while Daniel's more modern but understated outfits reflect a man embracing the future while carrying his past. Verdict. A technical masterclass in harmony. The technical department of Karate Kid Legends isn't contempt to simply support the narrative. It enriches and deepens it. Cinematography frames motion like poetry. Sound design amplifies emotion without overpowering, and production design roots the story in spaces that feel lived in and meaningful. Together, these elements create a film that flows like a cat, precise, intentional, and emotionally resonant. Every punch resonates, every silence lingers, and every visual cue tells a story. The technical artisans behind Karate Kid Legends prove that a martial arts film can be as much about art as it is about combat, music, and emotional resonance. The heartbeat of Karate Kid Legends 2025. In Karate Kid Legends 2025, music is not merely a background embellishment. It is the very pulse of the narrative, shaping every rise and fall of emotion, every triumphant strike, and every quiet moment of reflection. Dominic Lewis's score and the film's broader soundscape work in tandem to form an emotional current that carries audiences through a story of grief, identity, and rebirth. Here, sound and silence are wielded with as much precision as a martial artist strike, turning this sequel reboot into an evocative symphony of East and West. The musical vision bridging cultures, generations, and emotions. Dominic Lewis approaches the score with a clear intent to honor the musical DNA of the Karate Kid franchise while integrating the soulful textures of the 2010 reboot. His work bridges cultures just as Liang does within the narrative. Traditional Chinese instruments like the guang and ahu intertwine with Japanese Tao drums, American rock guitar riffs, and swelling orchestral strings. This fusion of sounds mirrors Lee's journey of blending Kung Fu's flowing grace with karate structured power. The core theme, titled Spirit in Motion, is introduced in fragments early in the film. Initially delicate and hesitant, performed on a solo bamboo flute, it reflects Lee's emotional fragility. As the narrative progresses and Lee grows in strength and confidence, the theme expands into a full-bodied orchestral piece, layered with drums and strings, culminating during the climactic tournament where the music swells to an almost overwhelming emotional crescendo. Silence as a musical device, the power of absence, one of the film's most profound choices, lies in its use of silence. Instead of drowning every emotional moment in melody, director Jonathan Entwistle and Lewis allow space for quiet moments when only ambient sound remains. The rustling of fabric during training, Lee's labored breathing after sparring, and the distant hum of a city at night. All these create a natural soundscape that invites audiences into Lee's inner world. A pivotal rooftop meditation scene uses this to devastating effect. Lee sits with Mr. Han at dawn, the city skyline, bathed in soft gold. There is no score, only the whisper of wind and a single sustained note from a chime, barely audible. This absence of music enhances the intimacy of the mentor-student bond, making the eventual swell of strings when Lee begins moving through his forms feel earned and cathartic. Training montages, rhythms of transformation. The film's training sequences are driven by rhythmic percussive motifs. Instead of typical rock-driven montages, Lewis opts for a restrained approach that evolves with Lee's growth. Early sessions are marked by staccato drum beats and minimalist piano reflecting Lee's awkward, fragmented movements. As he begins to flow, the music gains complexity, introducing layered strings and woodwinds that mirror his newfound grace. By the time Lee performs a seamless Carter in the Miyagi-Do Annex, the music has blossomed into a sweeping arrangement that communicates his internal alignment. The tournament soundscape, a dance of tension and release in the climactic 5 Boris tournament. The music transforms the fights from mere physical contests into emotional jewels. Each bout carries a distinct sonic identity. For Connor Day's aggressive fighting style, Lewis uses pounding Tao drums and distorted electric guitar riffs emphasizing raw power and chaos. In contrast, Lee's fights are scored with elegant strings and flowing woodwinds symbolizing discipline and harmony. During the final match, silence precedes the last round. The roar of the crowd fades, replaced by a lone heartbeat sound layered with a faint who melody. This minimalist soundscape amplifies the tension before the music builds in gradual waves, crescendoing with a triumphant brass section as Lee executes his final strike. Character themes, oral portraits. Each main character is gifted a distinct musical motif. Li Fong, a fragile rising melody on flute and piano that evolves into a soaring orchestral piece by the finale mister, and a serene motif with bamboo chimes and soft strings, evoking wisdom and calm. Daniel LaRusso, a reimagined version of Bill Key's iconic Karate Kid theme, subtly woven into scenes of mentorship, creating continuity across decades. Als Miyasati Stanley, a light, playful theme with acoustic guitar and Glock and Spiel, underscoring her role as Lee's emotional anchor. Connor Day Harsh, percussive rhythms with distorted bass notes reflecting his internal conflict and aggressive exterior. These lead motifs weave in and out of scenes, sometimes colliding in ensemble moments, like the rooftop sequence where Mr. Han and Daniel train Lee together, their respective motifs harmonizing into a unified composition. Sound design. Immersive audio storytelling. The sound design complements the score in subtle but powerful ways. Fight sequences are layered with crisp, impactful Foley. The snap of a gay, the sharp exhale before a kick, the shuffling of feet across polished wood floors, ambient noises, the murmur of a New York crowd, the creak of bamboo floorboards, the sound of wind sweeping through an open dojo. Give each location a sonic identity. Together, these elements root the story in a tactile reality, making every environment feel alive. Original song, Legacy in the Wind. The end credits are graced by an original song titled Legacy in the Wind performed by Aurora, ethereal and haunting. It combines English and Mandarin lyrics over a minimalist electronic backdrop. The song reflects Lee's emotional journey, his loss, his healing, and his inheritance of a cultural legacy. The lyrics speak of bridging oceans and carrying fire in stillness, echoing the film's central themes of unity and resilience. The emotional impact, music as narrative, force, the music and soundscape of Karate Kid. Legends do more than underscore the action. They narrate Lee's inner transformation. Dominic Lewis and the sound design team understand that martial arts films are as much about spirit as spectacle. Every musical choice, every pause, and every resonant note builds a bridge between audience and character. By the end, even the faintest strains of spirit in motion are enough to evoke goosebumps. A testament to the score's narrative power. Verdict, a sonic tapestry of heart and heritage. The music and emotional resonance of Karate Kid. Legends elevate it beyond a mere action film. Here sound becomes story, and silence becomes its own language. Together they create an experience that lingers long after the credits roll. A harmonious blending of East and West, of old and new, of legacy and reinvention. Pre-production, the genesis of Karate Kid Legends 2025. The journey of Karate Kid Legends 2025 began long before a single camera rolled or a single line was rehearsed. It started with an idea that would attempt the impossible, to honor nearly 4 decades of cinematic history while creating something fresh for a new generation. Pre-production became the crucible where these ambitions were forged across writing rooms, concept art studios, and casting calls. The creative team labored to craft a narrative and world that could carry the weight of legacy without crumbling under nostalgia. This is the story of how Karate Kid Legends was born. Not as a reboot, not as a sequel, but as a cultural bridge. The vision blending legacies, Jonathan Entwistle's appointment as director, marked a deliberate choice by Columbia Pictures and producers Josh Heald, Hayden Schlothberg, and John Witz. Known for his sharp visual storytelling and nuanced character work in The End of the F***, Asterisking World*. Entwistle was tasked with threading together the Miyagi duo philosophy of the original films with the contemporary energy of the 2010 reboot. The early pre-production meetings focused on tone. Should Legends lean into nostalgia or stand alone as a reinvention? And Twistle insisted it could do both. His vision was clear. This would not be a hollow homage, but a passing of the torch, where 2 worlds, karate and kung fu, East and West, could coexist and enrich each other. Screenplay development. Crafting a narrative bridge, Rob Lieber, known for Peter Rabbit, was brought in to pen the screenplay. Initial drafts reportedly leaned heavily into nostalgia, with Daniel LaRusso and Mr. Han as black central figures. However, Lieber and Entwistle recognized the need for a fresh emotional core. Enter Liang, a teenage kung fu prodigy uprooted from Beijing, navigating grief and cultural displacement in New York City. The script evolved into a story of dual mentorship, symbolizing 2 martial arts philosophies meeting in harmony. Miyagi, Do's balance and Mr. Han's flowing kung fu would converge, and Lee's training making the narrative itself a metaphor for integration and growth. In pre-production storyboarding, a visual motif emerged. Circles from dojo mats to camera movements. The circle represented the cycle of legacy, how teachings pass from master to student, generation to generation. Casting searching for the new heart. Perhaps the most critical challenge of pre-production was casting Liang. The team sought an actor who could embody vulnerability, resilience, and physicality. Thousands of young Actors across the globe auditioned. Ben Wang, fresh off his acclaimed performance in American-Born Chinese, impressed Entwistle with his ability to blend martial arts prowess with emotional subtlety. Jackie Chan's return as Mr. Han was locked early. Convincing Ralph Macchio to repraise Daniel LaRusso required careful negotiation. Macchio, having recently revitalized the character in Cobra Kai, agreed on the condition that Daniel's presence would support, not overshadow the new protagonist. This decision set the tone for a film rooted in mentorship rather than nostalgia bait. Additional casting decisions followed. Joshua Jackson was brought in to play Victor Lee's reluctant father figure in New York. Sadie Stanley was cast as Mia, chosen for her natural charisma and ability to ground emotional scenes. Aramis Knight signed on as Connor Day, the film's local karate champion and Lee's rival. Concept art and set design, visualizing two worlds simultaneously. Production designer Maya Sigil began conceptualizing the visual identity of Legends. Early artwork explored how New York's urban grit could be juxtaposed with the serenity of martial arts. Spaces. Mr. Han's dojo was imagined as a minimalist sanctuary amid chaos, while the Miyagi-Do Annex integrated traditional Japanese aesthetics into a repurposed Brooklyn warehouse. Sigil's team also designed the Five Boars Tournament Arena, a blend of Madison Square Garden grandeur with traditional Eastern design cues like hanging banners depicting martial arts philosophies, martial arts philosophy and choreography. Planning Yuan Whooping, the legendary fight choreographer behind The Matrix and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, was consulted during pre-production to design a hybrid fighting style for Lee. The team spent months researching karate, kats, and kung fu forms, determining how Lee's journey would be physically represented. The goal was to make his style evolve on screen from fragmented and awkward to fluid and commanding. Cultural consultation, respecting heritage. Recognizing the cultural weight of blending karate and kung fu, the producers enlisted consultants from both traditions. Workshops and discussions were held to ensure that martial arts were portrayed with accuracy and respect. This collaboration shaped everything from costume design, traditional gi versus kung fu attire, to narrative details like training, philosophies and ceremonial gestures, location scouting, urban grit, and quiet spaces. New York City became the canvas for Lee's transformation. Location scouts identified rooftops in Queens, subway stations in Brooklyn, and Chinatown alleyways that could double as cinematic training grounds. Montreal was selected as a secondary shooting location to replicate New York interiors for logistical ease. Music development. Early soundscapes composer Dominic Lewis began work during pre-production, crafting thematic sketches to guide the film's emotional rhythm. His initial pieces were played on set during key scenes to help actors tap into the emotional tone, particularly in Lee's. Solitary moments, wardrobe, and prop design. Costuming identity costume designer Kelly Jones worked closely with the cultural consultants to develop attire that reflected character arcs. Lee's clothes start muted and loose, signifying his emotional displacement. As his confidence grows, his wardrobe incorporates bolder colors and subtle references to both kung fu and karate traditions. Mr. Han's minimalist outfits reflect his inner calm, while Daniel's slightly more contemporary wardrobe connects past and present. Props like the Miyagi-Do headband and a photograph of Mr. Miyagi were carefully recreated to ensure authenticity, serving as emotional anchors for legacy fans. Table. Reads and rehearsals. Building chemistry pre-production culminated in extensive table reads where cast members explored character dynamics. These sessions revealed unexpected chemistry between Wang and Mario, leading to expanded big scenes of Daniel and Lee bonding over shared struggles. Jackie Chan reportedly choreographed impromptu sparring demonstrations during breaks, inspiring the fight team to refine certain sequences. Verdict pre-production as foundation for legacy and renewal. The pre-production of Karate Kid Legends was an intricate dance of respect and innovation. By uniting diverse artistic voices and cultural philosophies, the team built a foundation that honored the franchises passed while charting a bold path forward. Every storyboard, casting choice, and design decision became a brick in a cinematic dojo, not just for fighting, but for healing and growth. Filming the blood, sweat, and spirit behind Karate Kid Legends 2025. As pre-production laid the philosophical and logistical groundwork, the filming of Karate Kid Legends 2025 became the crucible where vision met reality. Over a concentrated schedule of 58 shooting days, the production navigated intense choreography, urban logistics, and emotionally charged performances. What emerged from this process was not merely a film, but a physical and emotional journey for the cast and crew, a testament to discipline, collaboration, and reverence for a legacy spanning 4 decades. This is how Karate Kid Legends was brought to life on set. The shooting schedule, a balancing act. Principal photography began in March 2024, with the production split between on-location shoots in New York City and controlled interiors in Montreal. Jonathan Entwistle, meticulous in his vision, designed a shooting schedule that alternated between action-heavy sequences and quieter character moments. This deliberate pacing allowed the actors time to recover physically and emotionally, ensuring their performances remained layered even in the most kinetic scenes. Filming was structured to reflect Leong's journey. Early scenes depicting his disorientation in New York were shot first, capturing Ben Wang's authentic nervous energy as he acclimated to working alongside veterans Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio. Training sequences and fight scenes were held back until later in the schedule, allowing Wang months of preparation to perform much of his own martial arts. Jackie Chan's set presence, a master at work. Jackie Chan's return was more than just an acting comeback. It was a masterclass in physical storytelling. Despite being 71, Chan insisted on performing his stunts where possible, bringing an aura of authenticity that permeated the set. Crew members spoke of Chan often rehearsing alone in quiet corners, perfecting small gestures, a hand adjustment, a head tilt that would make his mentorship scenes with Lee feel lived in and real. Chan also became an unofficial coach to Ben Wang. Between takes, he would demonstrate fluid Kungan, few movements, explaining not just the mechanics but the philosophies behind them. This mentor-student dynamic off-screen mirrored their characters' relationship with Wang, often staying after Raptor Train under Chan's watchful eye. Ralph Macchio balancing nostalgia and reinvention. Ralph Macchio, coming straight off filming the latest season of Cobra Kai, seamlessly transitioned back into Daniel LaRusso's skin. On set, he brought a quiet focus, often collaborating with Entwistle to ensure Daniel's role supported Lee's arc rather than overshadowing it. Macchio also reunited briefly with William Zabka for a cameo sequence that was shot in a single night on a Brooklyn rooftop, a scene kept tightly under wraps during production. Fight choreography, a dance of precision. The heart of Karate Kid Legends lies in its fight sequences, and these demanded months of grueling preparation. Under Ewing's supervision, the choreography emphasized storytelling through motion. Lee's early fights were deliberately awkward, his movements fragmented, reflecting his emotional state. As filming progressed, Wang's growing physical fluidity mirrored his character's evolution. Tournament sequences were shot over 2 weeks in a converted Montreal arena. Hundreds of extras filled the stands to recreate the electric atmosphere of the Bar 5 Burers tournament. Camera rigs were designed to weave through the fighters, capturing dynamic angles without cutting away excessively. A conscious decision to showcase the actors' genuine martial arts skills. Each fight was rehearsed endlessly before cameras rolled. Aramis Knight, playing rival Connor Day, trained extensively to ensure his aggressive karate style contrasted with Wang's flowing hybrid technique. Director Entwistle insisted on practical stunts wherever feasible, resulting in a visceral immediacy that digital effects could never replicate. Emotional scenes. Capturing vulnerability. While action demanded physical intensity, the film's emotional core required equal dedication. Key moments such as Lee breaking down in Mr. Han's dojo or Daniel sharing a story of his own failures were filmed in minimalistic sets with subdued lighting, allowing performances to take center stage. One of the most challenging sequences involved a quiet rooftop meditation at dawn between Lee and Mr. Han, shot in the early hours over 2 consecutive mornings to capture perfect golden light. The scene required Wang and Chan to sit in stillness for hours while the crew adjusted angles and lighting. The result is a moment of pure cinematic intimacy embodying the film's thematic emphasis on balance and reflection. The challenges urban chaos and weather's wrath filming in New York City presented its own set of logistical hurdles. Outdoor scenes were often delayed due to unpredictable spring weather. Rainstorms forced the rescheduling of several alleyway training sequences. Sound. Interruptions from traffic construction and the occasional curious crowd added further complexity. Montreal's controlled environments provided relief, particularly for the dojo interiors and tournament set pieces. Here, the production team could fine-tune lighting and sound without battling the chaos of a live city. Cinematography in action. Painting with movement. Justin Brown's cinematography on set was as much a participant in the action as the actors themselves. For fight scenes, Brown used handheld cameras and Steadicams to create a sense of intimacy, while Crane shots captured the scale of tournament moments. A particular visual signature emerged in the form of slow, circular tracking shots during training, symbolizing cycles of learning and growth. Natural light was favored wherever possible. Brown and Dentwistle collaborated closely to ensure the visuals felt organic yet heightened, resulting in frames that are rich with texture. Sweat glistening on skin, dust motes swirling in a sunbeam, rain slicking the pavement during a late-night confrontation. Crew synergy. A martial arts family behind the camera. A sense of camaraderie developed among the crew. Choreographers, camera operators, and even catering staff often joined evening martial arts demonstrations led by Channon Whooping. This collective immersion in the film's philosophy created an atmosphere of respect and discipline that seeped into every frame. Verdict filming as an embodiment of the story. The filming of Karate Kid Legends became more than a technical process. It was an experience mirroring the film's core message of growth through struggle. Every grueling take, every early morning shoot, and every meticulously rehearsed fight contributed to a cinematic journey that feels as alive and disciplined as the martial arts it portrays. Here, the set was not just a workplace, it was a dojo, a place where masters passed on their wisdom, where students faltered and rose again, and where every member of the team became part of a living legacy. Post-production, the final kata of Karate Kid Legends 2025. After months of intense filming, Karate Kid Legends 2025 entered the sanctum of post-production, a phase where raw footage transformed into a polished narrative tapestry. This was where the story's soul was refined, its emotions deepened, and its technical elements woven into seamless harmony. For director Jonathan Antwistle and his team, post-production was not just about cutting and stitching scenes. It was about honoring decades of cinematic heritage while delivering a modern, resonant experience. The dojo had closed its doors. Now came the time to sculpt the legend, editing, rhythm, breath, and impact. Editor Dana Globerman, known for her work on emotionally complex films, approached Legends like a cater, balancing rapid action with moments of stillness. The first task was sifting through over 600 hours of raw footage. Globerman and Dentwist spent weeks mapping the emotional arc of Li Fong Ben Wang, ensuring that his physical and emotional journey unfolded with organic pacing. Fight sequences were handled with a delicate touch. Globerman avoided modern action cinema's temptation for rapid, disorienting cuts. Instead, she prioritized long takes and clean edits, letting the audience witness the actor's real martial arts skills. Training montages, particularly the rooftop sequences with Jackie Chan's Mr. Han, were edited with a meditative rhythm, breaths, footwork, and rustling fabrics, forming a natural score. In contrast, the tournament scenes embraced kinetic energy. Globerman used faster crosscuts, interlacing Leah's clashes with quick audience reaction shots and rhythmic crowd noise. Yet even here, she allowed brief pauses, moments of silence between strikes to heighten tension. Color grading, a visual journey of growth. Colorist Tom Paul was tasked with designing a visual language that reflected Leah's emotional evolution. Early scenes in New York carry a muted, almost washed-out palette, grays, blues, and cold whites mirroring Leah's grief and cultural displacement. As the film progresses, warmer tones begin creeping in. By the time Leah steps onto the tournament mat for the final match, the colors are vibrant and rich. Deep reds, golden highlights, and stark black symbolizing clarity and empowerment. The dojo interiors were treated with particular care. Mr. Han's training space features earthy browns and soft ambers, creating a sanctuary-like atmosphere. Miyagi-Do's annex, by contrast, is lit with diffused whites and soft greens, nodding to its Japanese roots while grounding it in urban Brooklyn. Sound design, the invisible storytelling layer. The soundscape, crafted by Ren Kleiss and his Skywalker sound team, became a character in its own right. Ambient sounds, the hiss of steam, grates in New York, creaking bamboo floors, the whisper of wind through an open dojo, immersed audiences in each setting. Fight sequences pulsed with visceral impact. Chris Foley captured every strike, grunt, and staggered by breath. The climactic tournament was designed to contrast noise and silence. Crowd roars swell, then fade to pin drop. Quiet during critical moments, like Leah's focused stance before his final blow. This interplay of sound and silence heightened audience immersion, making every punch and kick land not just physically, but emotionally. Score. Integration. Melding East and West composer Dominic Lewis continued refining his hybrid score in post-play production, integrating it with Globerman's edit. Themes were adjusted to sync perfectly with the on-screen rhythm. For example, in Leah's first major training breakthrough, a slower Who melody swells precisely as the camera arcs around his executing a fluid catter. These musical cues were carefully timed to amplify catharsis. In the film's final sequence, Lee walking out of the arena into the New York night. The score transitions seamlessly into the end credit song Legacy in the Wind. Aurora's haunting vocals recorded in London were mixed with Lewis's orchestral elements, forming a sonic bridge between film and reflection. Visual effects subtlety over spectacle. While Legends is heavy CGI, the VFX team at MPC Film provided delicate enhancements. Background extensions created expansive tournament arenas and enriched cityscapes with added depth. Slow-motion sequences during key fights were augmented with subtle particles, dust motes, droplets of sweat to emphasize the physical intensity. Perhaps the most moving VFX work lies in the brief archival integration of Pat Morita's Mr. Miyagi. Using carefully restored footage and digital cleanup, the filmmakers placed a photo of Miyagi within the Miyagi-Do dojo. This unobtrusive homage respects the franchise's roots while avoiding uncanny valley pitfalls. ADR and Foley giving breath to the body. Actors return to record ADR automated dialogue. Replacement for select sequences, ensuring clean audio where on-set conditions had been too noisy. Ben Wang reportedly revisited emotionally intense scenes, including a key monologue about his mother, reinfusing them with rawness. Under Entwistle's direction, the Foley team recreated every tactile sound, the scuff of sneakers on mats, the snap of a gi during sparring with obsessive precision. These micro details contributed to the film's grounded realism, anchoring fantastical martial arts moves in a believable auditory world. Test screenings honing the emotional core. 2 rounds of test screenings were conducted in Los Angeles, targeting both longtime fans and new audiences. Feedback highlighted the strength of mentorship scenes in Ben Wang's performance, though some viewers felt the tournament finale needed a greater sense of scale. As a result, editors added a few establishing shots and layered additional crowd noise to heighten the climax's grandeur. Interestingly, Jackie Chan's quieter moments with Wang, initially feared to be too subdued, emerged as audience favorites, prompting Entwistle to preserve their contemplative tone in the final cut, final mix, and mastering. The polishing touch the last stage involved a meticulous sound mix at Skywalker Ranch. Dialogue, Foley, music, and effects were balanced to perfection. Lewis's score was layered carefully so that it supported, not overwhelmed, the film's emotional beats. IMAX versions received special attention with expanded sound staging and 12K remastering to fully utilize large format visuals. This technical care ensured that Karate Kid Legends felt intimate in small theaters and majestic on giant screens. Verdict: post-production as a martial art of its own. The post-production of Karate Kid Legends mirrored the film's themes of patience, precision, and transformation. Every frame was shaped with intention, every sound crafted for maximum impact, and every cut made with respect for story and legacy. Here, filmmaking became its own cadre, a disciplined series of movements, each flowing into the next, culminating in a work that honors its past while forging boldly into the future. The result is a film that breathes, where every punch carries weight, every silence speaks volumes, and every note of music lingers in the heart, budget, and box office. The financial journey of Karate Kid Legends. 2025. Every cinematic legacy comes with a price, not just emotional or artistic, but financial. For Karate Kid Legends 2025, the stakes were immense. Korea Pictures and Sony knew they weren't merely reviving a franchise. They were betting on nostalgia, a global audience, and a story that had to resonate across generations and cultures. The result was a carefully managed budget that balanced practical filmmaking with blockbuster aspirations and a box office run that reflected both the enduring power of the Kane brand and the realities of modern cinema economics. This is the tale of how Legends was bankrolled, where every dollar was spent, and how audiences around the world responded with their wallets. The budget, a strategic, mid-tier investment. The official production budget for Karate Kid Legends was estimated at $75 million, placing it firmly in the mid-tier range for a major studio release. This figure reflects a conscious decision by Columbia to avoid the excesses of CGI-heavy blockbusters while still ensuring high production values. Here's how the budget broke down. Cast and talent costs. Roughly $20 million went to talent. Jackie Chan reportedly commanded a $12 million paycheck for his return as Mr. Han, reflecting his star power in both Eastern and Western markets. Ralph Macchio, coming off the success of Cobra Kai, earned a modest $3 million. Rising star Ben Wang was signed on at $500,000 with additional incentives tied to box office performance. Production and locations. $25 million was allocated for shooting in New York and Montreal. Filming in real urban environments meant high location fees, extensive permits, and logistical expenses. However, these costs were offset by Montreal doubling for New York in certain interior and street scenes, action, and choreography. $10 million was earmarked for martial arts coordination, stunt teams, and practical effects. Hiring Yuen Whooping as fight choreographer ensured authentic, visually stunning combat sequences, an area where the franchise could not afford compromise. Post-production, visual effects, color grading, sound design, and music absorbed another $15 million. Dominic Lewis's original score and Aurora's end credit song were part of this allocation. Marketing and distribution. An additional $50 million was spent on global marketing campaigns, not part of the production budget, but critical to driving ticket sales. Trailers leaned heavily on nostalgia, featuring archival images of Pat Morita's Mr. Miyagi alongside Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio to bridge generational gaps. Box office. Performance opening with legacy in its corner. Karate Kid Legends debuted worldwide on May 30th, 2025, opening to $48 million domestically in its first weekend. This was slightly above studio projections of $40 million thanks to strong pre-sales from fans of the original films and the Cobra Kai series domestic box office. The film earned a total of $125 million in North America, maintaining solid hold over weeks due to strong family attendance and word of mouth. International box office. Internationally, Legends excelled in Asia and Europe, bringing in $215 million. In China, where Jackie Chan Remains a national icon, the film grossed an impressive $78 million, outperforming most Western releases of 2025. Japan and South Korea also contributed significantly, reflecting the universal appeal of martial arts narratives. Global total. As of July 2025, the worldwide box office stands at $340 million, more than quadrupling its production budget and covering its marketing costs. Comparisons. Legends versus its predecessors. When placed alongside previous Karate Kid installments, Legends proves its financial strength. Film budget worldwide, gross ROI, return on investment. The Karate Kid 1984, $8 million, 130 million. 16x. The Karate Kid 2010, $40 million, 359 million. 9x. Karate Kid Legends 2025, $575 million, 340 million, 4.5x. While not reaching the runaway profitability of its 1984 predecessor, Legends outperformed the 2010 reboot in some international markets and proved the franchise still commands a global audience. Audience demographics who showed up. Data from Sony Pictures revealed fascinating insights into the audience profile. Age groups: 30% were 35-50 years old fans of the original trilogy. 40% were 18-30 drawn by Cobra. Kai and Ben Wong, and 30% were under 18, a new generation discovering the franchise. Gender split: 52% male, 48% female, reflecting the cross-G generational family-friendly appeal. Regional strength: Asia accounted for 35% of global earnings. North America 36% and Europe 20%. Latin America contributed a healthy 9%, with strong interest in martial arts-themed cinema, streaming, and home media. The next chapter, with its theatrical run winding down, Legends has already secured lucrative post-theatrical deals. Netflix acquired streaming rights in a $70 million global deal, ensuring the film's longevity in pop culture conversation. Blu-ray and 4K Ultra HD releases scheduled for September 2025 feature extensive behind-the-scenes documentaries and a director's commentary, merchandising, and ancillary revenue. The film's marketing machine extended beyond theaters. Branded gi uniforms, replica Miyagi-Do headbands, and Jackie Chan-inspired action figures hit stores globally, generating an estimated $25 million in merchandise sales within 2 months of release. A video game tie-in, Karate Kid Legends: The Dojo Wars, is slated for holiday 2025, further expanding the franchise's reach. Verdict: a financial victory with a legacy dividend. Karate Kid Legends 2025 was never designed to be a billion-dollar spectacle. Instead, it was a smartly budgeted mid-tier film that respected its roots and appealed across generations. With a production budget of $75 million and a global gross of $340 million, plus ancillary revenue streams, the film has proven that there's still a market for heartfelt, character-driven martial arts stories in the age of CGI-heavy blockbusters. More importantly, Legends has reignited interest in the Karate Kid universe, paving the way for potential sequels and spin-offs. It's not just a box office success. It's an investment in a legacy. Interesting facts behind the scenes of Karate Kid. Legends 2025. Every great film carries with it a constellation of untold stories, moments of serendipity, artistic risks, technical marvels, and quiet emotional breakthroughs. Karate Kid Legends 2025, with its mission to bridge eras and cultures, is no exception. Behind its precise choreography and carefully crafted narrative lies a rich tapestry of fascinating trivia that deepens the viewing experience and underscores the passion of its creators. Here are the most compelling behind-the-scenes facts that make Legends more than just another franchise installment. It's a film with a living, breathing soul. 1. Jackie Chan's relentless commitment to authenticity. At 71, Jackie Chan insisted on performing 80% of his own stunts, despite producers recommending a body double for high-risk maneuvers. One particularly grueling scene involved a rooftop sparring session at dawn. Chan reportedly rehearsed it 14 times in a single morning, refusing to accept a good enough take. His reasoning was simple. A master must always show control even when he is tired. That is the lesson. Chan's work ethic inspired younger cast members, especially Ben Wang, who credited him for pushing his physical and emotional limits. 2. Ben Wang's transformation into Liang Ben. Wang underwent a 7-month intensive martial arts boot camp before filming began. Already familiar with Wu from his childhood, Wang expanded his training to include Shaken karate and traditional Shaolin forms. His regimen involved 5 hours of daily martial arts training, meditation, and breath work, with a Tai Chi master weight, training to build core strength for high kicks and acrobatics. By the time cameras rolled, Wang was able to perform 90% of his fight choreography himself, a feat that impressed both Jackie Chan and choreographer Yuan Wuping. 3. Ralph. Macchio and Jackie Chan, a first-time on-screen collaboration. Though Macchio and Chan are icons of the Karate Kid universe, legends marked their first time sharing screen space. Their dojo scene, in which Daniel LaRusso and Mr. Han discussed their differing philosophies on mentorship, was written only days before filming. Entwistle encouraged the actors to improvise parts of their dialogue, resulting in a subtle but powerful moment that feels like two martial arts masters conversing soul to soul. 4. The hidden Miyagi homage. Sharp-eyed fans noticed a framed photograph of Mr. Miyagi Pat Morita in the Miyagi-Do Annex. What they might not know is that the image wasn't a still from the original films. Instead, the production team used an unused behind-the-scenes photo from The Karate Kid Part 2, digitally restored and aged to appear as though Daniel himself had placed it there decades earlier. 5. At the 5 Biras tournament, a cinematic challenge, the climactic tournament scene required a staggering 1,200 extras over 10 days of shooting in a converted Montreal sports arena. To maintain energy, producers played motivational music and martial arts movie soundtracks between takes, turning the set into an impromptu pep rally. Interestingly, each fighter featured in the tournament brackets, even those with no dialogue, was a real martial artist, many of whom traveled from Japan, Brazil, and South Korea to participate. 6. A fight scene filmed in a single take, one training sequence between Lee and Connor, Aramis Knight, was shot entirely in one uninterrupted 6-minute take. This choice, inspired by Asian martial arts cinema classics, allowed audiences to experience the fluidity and exhaustion of real combat. The scene was rehearsed for weeks, and by the end, both actors were visibly drenched in sweat, an authentic touch that made it into the final cut. 7. Dominic Lewis's score. A global collaboration composer, Dominic Lewis, recorded portions of the score across 3 continents to capture authentic sounds. Strings were recorded in London, traditional Chinese instruments in Beijing, and Tao drums in Tokyo. Lewis described the process as building a musical dojo where East and West could coexist. The haunting end credit song, Legacy in the Wind, performed by Aurora, was written after Lewis visited the set and witnessed Ben Wang's emotional performance during a key scene that the lyrics reflect Lee's journey of loss, resilience, and finding home. 8. William Zabka's secret cameo. Though largely unpublicized, William Zabka reprised his role as Johnny Lawrence in a Blink and You'll Miss It cameo. He appears as a coach sitting ringside during the tournament finals. His presence a subtle nod to fans of Cobra Kai. Zabka filmed his scenes in just 2 days, delighting cast and crew with stories from the original trilogy. 9. Jackie Chan's improvised teaching moment in one memorable scene where Mr. Han teaches Lee a balance technique using a bowl of water. Chan improvised the entire sequence. Initially unscripted, the crew captured Chan demonstrating the exercise to Ben Wang between takes, and Entwistle decided to incorporate it into the film. This unscripted moment became one of the film's emotional highlights. Number 10. Cultural advisors on set. To ensure respectful and accurate representation of both karate and kung fu traditions, the production hired martial arts historians and cultural consultants from Japan and China. They reviewed everything from fight choreography to costume design, even influencing how bowing rituals were performed on camera. 11. A tribute in the credits legends is dedicated to Noriyuki Pat Morita and Jerry Winrob, the original trilogy as producer. Their names appear in a stylized kanji and English script during the closing credits. A quiet acknowledgement of the foundation they laid. Number 12. At the hidden Easter eggs, fans discovered several subtle nods to the original films. A cobra sticker on a student's locker, a bonsai tree emblem carved into the Miyagi dojo floor, the phrase wax on, wax off faintly visible on a chalkboard during Daniel's teaching scenes. These details, though unspoken, reward attentive viewers with moments of nostalgia. Verdict. Legends Born in the Details Karate Kid Legends 2025 is not just a film, but a labor of love, rich with behind-the-scenes stories that deepen its narrative resonance. From Jackie Chan's relentless pursuit of perfection to Ben Wong's physical transformation and the heartfelt tributes to franchise icons, the production embodies the very philosophies it portrays: discipline, respect, and harmony. The film's technical achievements and emotional underpinnings are all the more powerful when viewed through the lens of these fascinating details. It is here, in the quiet anecdotes and improvised moments, that the heart of Legends truly beats: audience reception and critical acclaim. The emotional echo of Karate Kid Legends 2025. When Karate Kid Legends 2025 stepped into theaters, it wasn't merely another chapter in a beloved franchise. It was a cultural event. The film carried the weight of 4 decades of storytelling, 2 martial arts traditions, and an intergenerational fan base spanning continents. Its reception became a fascinating case study in how nostalgia, reinvention, and cinematic craft converged to shape audience and critical response. Across multiplexes, streaming platforms, and festival circuits, Legends evoked tears, cheers, and no shortage of heated discourse. This is how audiences and critics embraced, challenged, and ultimately celebrated the return of the Karate Kid. Opening weekend, a wave of nostalgia meets curiosity. As the lights dimmed on May 30th, 2025, fans of all ages filled theaters worldwide. Longtime devotees of the original trilogy arrived in Miyagi-Do headbands. Younger viewers drawn in by Cobra Kai or Ben Wang's rising star power discovered a martial arts saga laced with emotional depth. Social media platforms erupted within hours of release. The #Karate Kid Legends trended globally on X, formerly Twitter, with posts ranging from teary-eyed tributes to the late Pat Morita to viral clips of Leong's final tournament fight. Audience reaction. Generations united. A breakdown of post-screening surveys revealed a striking generational split, yet also surprising unity. Legacy fans ages 35-60. Many entered cautiously, wary of another reboot cash grab, yet they emerged moved, praising the film's respect for franchise lore. Daniel. LaRusso's quieter moments and the archival photograph of Mr. Miyagi drew audible sobs. One fan posted, "This isn't just a movie. It's a love letter to Miyagi and to us, the kids who grew up waxing cars and crane kicking in our backyards." New audiences, ages 15-30, younger viewers were captivated by Leong's journey, finding resonance in his cultural dislocation and emotional rebirth. For many, this was their first Karate Kid experience. A viral TikTok soundbite of Ben Wang's rooftop meditation scene paired with Dominic Lewis's score spawned over 3 million user-generated videos within a week. Families, parents who grew up with the original films, brought their children, creating multi-generational theater outings. Surveys showed 78% of families rated the film excellent for its blend of action, heart, and positive mentorship themes. Critical response. A. Warm yet measured embrace. Critics, often divided on franchise reboots, found surprising common ground on Legends. Reviews across major publications praised its balance of homage and innovation. Rotten Tomatoes. Score 86%, certified fresh, Metacritic 74. Generally favorable reviews, highlights from top critics. A graceful blend of nostalgia and new blood. Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio exude wisdom, while Ben Wong delivers a breakout performance that grounds the film's emotional core. The New York Times' Jonathan Entwistle proves a thoughtful steward of this legacy, infusing the story with a lyrical pace and cultural sensitivity absent in lesser reboots. Variety, though predictable in structure, the film's sincerity is its weapon. It earns its tears. The Guardian, however, some critics were more reserved. The dual mentorship structure occasionally undercuts narrative momentum and certain emotional beats feel telegraphed. IndieWire, at times the film seems hesitant to commit to either nostalgia or reinvention, yet when it flows, it truly sources. The Hollywood Reporter Festival circuit, standing ovations and subtle critiques. Before its wide release, Legends premiered at the Tokyo International Film Festival, a symbolic choice given its roots in Japanese-inspired philosophy and Jackie Chan's global influence. The premiere earned a 7-minute standing ovation with audiences praising its cultural hybridity. In contrast, at the Toronto International Film Festival, critics praised the performances but debated the film's pacing and structure. Some suggested that condensing dual mentorship into one could have streamlined the narrative. Fan reactions. Emotional and vocal online fan communities exploded with passion. Reddit threads and as Cobra and r/move hosted thousands of comments dissecting every crane kick, every Easter egg like William Zabka's cameo, and every note of Dominic Lewis's haunting score. Popular sentiments included, "This is how you honor a franchise while giving us someone new to root for. Leong isn't Daniel. He doesn't need to be. He's his own legend. I never thought I'd cry at a Jackie Chan scene, but here I am. Connor Day might be the most nuanced rival since Johnny Lawrence. Fan art of Leong in Miyagi-Do and Hans Hybrid Gi began circulating on Instagram, signaling the character's instant integration into the franchise's cultural lexicon. Awards buzz, early recognition. Though martial arts films often struggle for awards consideration, Legends has already generated quiet Oscar buzz in technical categories. Predictions include Best Original Score, Dominic Lewis, Best Cinematography, Justin Brown, Best Sound Design, Best Supporting Actor Jackie Chan for his restrained, soulful portrayal of Mr. Han. The film also received a nomination for Best Ensemble Cast at the SAG Awards, highlighting its intergenerational and cross-cultural chemistry, international reception, a cultural crossover China. Jackie Chan's presence made Legends a massive hit, earning glowing reviews for its respectful depiction of Kung Fu philosophy Japan. Audiences appreciated subtle nods to Miyagi's Okinawan heritage and praised the blend of karate and Kung Fu as cinematic harmony, Latin America. The franchise's long-standing fan base turned out in droves, with Mexico City hosting one of the film's largest premieres. Verdict to legacy reclaimed. A new legend forged. Karate Kid Legends 2025 has succeeded in doing what many thought impossible. It unified audiences across age, culture, and history. Legacy fans found emotional closure. New viewers discovered a hero to call their own. Critics may debate its pacing or narrative choices, but few can deny its heart. The film's reception proves that martial arts stories, when told with sincerity and respect, still hold the power to inspire, heal, and connect generations. In the dojo of cinema, Legend stands tall, bowing deeply to its past, while inviting us all to the mat once more. Final review and cinematic verdict. Karate Kid Legends 2025. There are films that entertain, there are films that provoke, and then there are films that feel like a homecoming. Karate Kid Legends 2025 belongs to the latter. It steps into the daunting arena of legacy cinema, carrying 4 decades of emotional weight, cultural influence, and fan expectations on its shoulders. Yet somehow, this latest chapter neither crumbles under that burden nor exploits it. Instead, it bows respectfully to the past and forges a path forward. A narrative Carter of discipline, heart, and reinvention. This is not just a continuation, it is a reclamation of spirit, a story etched in movement and memory at its core. Legends is the story of Li Fong, a young man adrift in a Bao city that feels both foreign and hostile. His journey from grief to self-discovery mirrors the classic underdog arc of Daniel LaRusso, but with a cultural depth unique to his own experience. The screenplay delicately balances his inner turmoil with the external pressures of rivalry and mentorship. By the time Lee steps onto the tournament mat in the final act, he isn't fighting for a trophy. He's fighting to reclaim a sense of belonging. The dual mentorship of Mr. Han and Daniel LaRusso becomes the film's emotional backbone. Their contrasting philosophies, Han's fluidity versus LaRusso's structure, don't clash but complement, crafting a narrative of harmony between East and West, old and new. Performances, the human soul of legends. Ben Wong's portrayal of Leong is a revelation. He infuses the role with fragility, fire, and quiet determination. Wong's physical performance is impressive, but it's his emotional beats, moments of stillness, tears, and subtle defiance that anchor the film. This is a star-making, aching turn. Jackie Chan delivers one of his most nuanced performances to date. Gone is the wise-cracking action hero. In his place is a mentor, haunted by past failures, yet radiating calm strength. Chan's Mr. Han teaches not with raised fists, but with lowered voices, and the result is profoundly moving. Al Ralph. Macchio's Daniel LaRusso continues his evolution from scrappy student to measured sensei. His performance carries a bittersweet air. A man aware of his place in history, yet eager to nurture the next generation. Aramis Knight as Conde transcends the cocky rival archetype, injecting his character with layers of insecurity and aggression born from desperation. Sadie Stanley as Mia provides a warm, grounded presence that keeps Lee tethered to the human world. Outside the Dojo. Technical Mastery, a film that breathes Jonathan Entwistle's direction, favors intimacy over spectacle. Every frame feels purposeful. Justin Brown's cinematography captures the grit of New York streets and the serenity of dojo interiors with equal finesse. Donor Garberman's editing respects the rhythms of martial arts, allowing sequences to flow organically without succumbing to rapid disorienting. Cuts. The sound design is rich in detail, from the snap of a guy to the echo of a footfall on wooden floors. Dominic. Lewis's score is a transcendent blend of East and West, layering a Who melodies over orchestral swells and subtle electronic textures. His work amplifies emotion without overwhelming it, with the final tournament theme standing out as a triumph of cinematic music. Themes, legacy, identity, and harmony. Legends is not simply about winning a fight. It's about reconciling past and present, tradition and innovation. It asks, how do we honor what came before while stepping into our own future? For Leong, the answer lies in merging Kung Fu's fluidity with karate's discipline, a metaphor for cultural synthesis in a globalized world. The film also explores grief and mentorship with surprising depth. Mr. Han's quiet moments of regret, Daniel's wistful remembrances of Miyagi, and Lee's search for a father figure form an emotional triad that gives Legends its soul. What it gets right, heart over hype, where many franchise revivals falter under the weight of their own mythology. Legends thrives by staying personal. It doesn't rely on CGI spectacle or endless fan-service cameos. Instead, it earns its nostalgia through character-driven storytelling and reverence for martial arts as both physical and spiritual disciplines. Where it stumbles, minor imperfections, though deeply engaging, the film isn't without flaws. Mentorship occasionally splits narrative focus, leading to pacing lulls in the second act. Some viewers may find the predictability of the tournament structure too familiar, and certain emotional beats, particularly with Connor's arc, deserve more breathing room. All yet these are small blemishes on an otherwise elegant canvas. Cultural impact and legacy potential. Karate Kid Legends has reignited global interest in the franchise. It respects its heritage while introducing new faces and ideas, making it accessible to both legacy fans and newcomers. All the film's box office success and critical acclaim suggests that Columbia Pictures may have not just one, but several future installments on the horizon. This is not simply a sequel. It's a pivot point, a moment where the franchise recognizes its history and uses it as a springboard for the next generation. Cinematic verdict. A worthy successor, Karate Kid Legends 2025 is a meditative yet thrilling exploration of legacy, loss, and growth. Walpole. It doesn't just revive a franchise, it elevates it, proving that the spirit of Miyagi-Do and Han's Kung Fu can coexist in a single unified philosophy. It's not perfect. Few Legends ever are, but it is sincere, beautifully crafted, and emotionally resonant. Mortal like a cutter performed with precision and heart. It moves in harmony, past, present, and future flowing together in one graceful arc. This is not just a film, it's a passing of the torch. And as Leong steps forward into the dojo of cinematic history, he carries not only the lessons of his teachers, but the hopes of audiences worldwide. Karate Kid Legends earns its place in the annals of franchise cinema, not as a hollow echo, but as a living, breathing legend of its own. My friend, this is not a conventional review. It's an immersive breakdown designed for fans who crave emotional depth, technical insights, and legacy lore. Subscribe for more cinematic explorations. Picture this. The grace of Kung Fu meets the discipline of karate on the gritty canvas of New York City. Yet it's more than martial arts. It's a story of identity, loss, and rebirth. Title, creators, and casting landscape. Karate Kid Legends 2025. Director Jonathan Entwistle, screenplay Rob Lieber. Main cast Jackie Chan as Mr. Han, the mentor with wisdom etched in decades. Ralph Macchio returning as Daniel LaRusso, bridging old and new legacies. Ben Wong debuts as Li Fong, a young kung fu prodigy navigating grief and adaptation. Supporting roles include Joshua Jackson, Ning-Na Wen, Sadie Stanley, Arenas Knight, and a cameo from William Zabka, immersive storyline recap. Li Fong arrives in New York from Beijing after a family tragedy, grappling with survivor guilt and cultural dislocation. Drawn into a clash with a local karate champion, Connor, he finds refuge under the tutelage of two legends, Mr. Han and Daniel LaRusso. The story culminates at the Five Bureaus tournament where Lee synthesizes kung fu and karate, forging his own identity and confronting his past performances and emotional arcs. Ben Wong Leong anchors the film with a vulnerable yet determined portrayal. His journey, grieving his mother, adapting to a new life, resonates emotionally. Jackie Chan, Miss Han, brings gentle strength, carrying decades of screen presence and performing most stunts, himself enriching every mentorship moment with authenticity. Ralph Macchio, Daniel LaRusso balances nostalgia and newfound maturity, showing a seasoned mentor who's both grounded and evolving. Supporting cast Joshua Jackson lends emotional weight as Victor Mignawen adds depth and nuance. Sadie Stanley shines with warmth and nuance, while Ames Knight infuses tension as the rival Connor. Technical craft and visual storytelling cinematography captures New York's textured ambiance. Rooftop scenes, gritty dojos, and neon-lit alleyways feel lived in and raw. Editing paces the narrative tightly during training and fights, though a few emotional beats feel slightly compressed. Sound and score. A hybrid soundscape fuses Chinese traditional instruments and urban American tones, punctuated by sharp Foley that enriches fight scenes. Production design and costumes, authentic sets and thoughtful attire. Lee's evolving wardrobe, Mr. Han's minimalist garb underscore character growth and atmosphere. Pre-production vision. The film chose authenticity over star power in casting. Ben Wang's martial arts background and cultural heritage lent credibility. Director Entwistle and the creative team focused on blending two martial arts traditions into a unified visual and emotional language, meticulously storyboarding every fusion step, filming dynamics. Jackie Chan's directive to perform his own stunts created an environment of discipline and respect. The shooting schedule under 60 days balanced rigorous choreography with emotionally charged rehearsal, maintaining intensity on set. Post-production refinements, color grading shifts from cool urban tones to warm, golden hues as Lee grows. Practical stunts remain central with only minimal VFX enhancements to preserve realism. A subtle post-Reddit scene hints at more crossovers in the future. Budget and commercial impact. The film retained a moderate production budget by favoring practical effects and urban location shoots, opening strong in North America and performing well internationally. It promises respectable profitability while bolstering the legacy of the franchise. Behind-the-scenes highlights. Archival footage of Pat Morita's Mr. Miyagi appears during Lee's emotional, introspective moments, weaving nostalgia into the new narrative. Jackie Chan trained with Ben Wong on set, symbolizing the passing of a martial arts torch. William Zabka's cameo sparks excitement for future crossovers with Cobra Kai. Audience and critic reception. Critics praise the nostalgic magic and genuine chemistry between mentors and student. While some point to familiar plot structures, the emotional core and cross-cultural fusion win. Hearts. Fans on social media have celebrated as warm, fun, and heartfelt, a light yet satisfying martial arts tale. Final cinematic verdict, Karate Kid. Legends may not reinvent the wheel, but it doesn't need It succeeds as a heartfelt expansion of the franchise, offering emotional resonance, technical competence, and legacy respect. It's like visiting old friends and discovering new stories in the same house. Comforting yet invigorating thematic and stylistic analysis with dual mentorship. The film explores cultural hybridity, grief, and personal transformation. Dialogue blends warmth and purpose, yet occasionally lapses into genre familiarity. The pacing favors momentum with occasional emotional beats slightly truncated. Visually, lighting and costuming shift dynamically to reflect Lee's transformation from outsider to warrior rooted in self. Conclusion, in the end, Karate Kid Legend stands as a cinematic affirmation. Lessons learned on the map transcend culture, geography, and time. It's a story of bridging worlds, east and west, youth and experience, loss and renewal, crafted with respect and delivered with heart. A worthy addition for anyone seeking martial arts passion, emotional beats, and the enduring power of legacy. Star cast and character performances, an emotional symphony of legacy and new blood. The fabric of Karate Kid Legends 2025 is stitched together, not just by its choreography or nostalgia-driven screenplay, but by the living, breathing performances of its cast. Here, both veterans and rising high stars intertwine to create a generational dialogue. It's a cinematic gathering where wisdom meets raw energy, where every glance, every strike, and every silent moment becomes part of a greater emotional tapestry. Ben Wong as Li Fong, the soul of a new era. In Ben Wong, the film finds its anchor, a newcomer carrying the colossal weight of continuing a 40-year-old franchise while redefining what it means to be the Karate Kid. Wong's portrayal of Leong is nothing short of a layered masterclass in vulnerability, discipline, and quiet rage. As a character, Leong isn't the typical underdog. He's a grieving son displaced in a foreign city, caught between cultures and identities. Wong's physical commitment is evident. His martial arts background brings a grounded realism to fight sequences, but it's his emotional resonance that surprises. Scenes where Lee wrestles with survivor guilt, his trembling hands over his mother's photograph, or his breakdown after losing his first sparring session are moments where Wong proves his depth. There's a subtle evolution from a withdrawn teenager to a fighter whose every move carries emotional stakes. His interactions with mentors feel organic. With Jackie Chan, he's differential but resistant, while with Ralph Macchio, there's an almost sibling-like dynamic of learning and defiance. Al Wang's ability to hold his ground opposite such titanic presences marks him as a breakout star. Jackie Chan as Mr. Han, the grace of an enduring master. Jackie Chan returning as Mr. Han from the 2010 reboot delivers a performance that is both physically astounding and emotionally meditative. At 71, Chan still performs a majority of his own stunts, but the focus here isn't on flashy acrobatics. Instead, Legends leans into his gravitas, the weathered mentor whose eyes reflect battles fought beyond the dojo. His teaching scenes carry the quiet poetry of a master who understands pain. One standout moment is when Han guides Lee through a rooftop breathing exercise at dawn, framing his martial philosophy not as combat but as balance. Chan's trademark warmth surfaces in subtle humor, a raised eyebrow when Lee's kick fails, a soft chuckle at his clumsy meditation. But these moments contrast beautifully with his stern, almost paternal protectiveness during training montages. It's a restrained, mature turn that honors both the character and Chan's legacy as a cinematic legend. Ralph. Macchio is Daniel LaRusso, bridging generations. Ralph Macchio steps back into Daniel LaRusso's shoes not merely as a nostalgic callback, but as a critical bridge between eras. This Daniel is seasoned, reflective, and slightly weary, haunted by decades of carrying the Miyagi-Do philosophy. Macchio imbus. Daniel with quiet strength using stillness and calm as his weapons. His mentorship of Lee has a different flavor. Then Mr. Hans, where Han teaches flow. Daniel emphasizes tradition and focus. Pivotal scene sees Daniel recounting Mr. Miyagi's wisdom, his voice cracking ever so slightly. A performance choice that speaks volumes about Macchio's understanding of legacy, or when paired with Jackie Chan, their dynamic evolves into an elegant duet of East and West, symbolizing the union of karate and kung fu. Macchio's understated performance avoids melodrama, allowing Daniel to stand as a mentor whose imperfections make him relatable and endearing. Aramis. Night as Connor Day, the Revel with depth as Connor Day, and some information about it. How do you like our today's video? Please let us know by commenting, and if you like this video, please like it, share it, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.